brain, spinal cord, and all the neurons in the body together form the nervous system of the body. Brain is a very delicate organ, so it needs to be protected. So for protection, there is a hard bony covering known as the skull. But the skull is not enough. The brain has its own protective layer. This protective layer is known as the meninges. Meninges form 3 different layers. Now let us see more about them. This is the first layer of the meninges. It is the outermost fibrous covering and is known as the dura mater. This is the dura mater. Dura means tough, and mater means mother. The middle delicate layer, which looks like a spider web, is known as arachnoid. And the innermost layer, which is highly vascular or full of blood vessels, is known as pia mater. Pia means nourishment. This is because of the blood vessels present in this layer. It provides nourishment to the brain. Not only the meninges, but also the brain and the spinal cord is protected by a fluid known as the cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid absorbs shocks and protects the brain and the spinal cord from jerks and jolts. Now, information travels from the spinal cord to the cerebrum and from the cerebrum back to the spinal cord via this structure in the hindbrain, which is known as the medulla oblongata. Medulla means innermost, and oblongata comes from the word oblong or elongated. So this portion of the hindbrain is known as the medulla oblongata. Now, do all neurons move towards the cerebral cortex? Well, let us see. This man is walking in the forest. While walking, he is continuously breathing in and breathing out with the help of his lungs. So, breathing continues while doing other activities like walking or running or sleeping. So, we do some activities without informing the cerebrum. That is, the cerebrum does not need to process these informations. Such informations, they come back from the medulla oblongata itself. So these neurons form the autonomic nervous system because they act autonomously without informing the cerebrum. Now look at this video. So the man was extremely scared when he heard the roar. He suddenly jumped onto a tree, his heartbeat increased, and his breathing became faster. Now, why did this happen? Well, before he heard the roar, his breathing rate and his heart rate were normal because they were controlled by a special type of autonomic nervous system known as parasympathetic nervous system. But when a situation arises when flight or fight are the only two options of survival, then another type of autonomic nervous system takes over. Now, this type of autonomic nervous system is functionally almost opposite to the parasympathetic nervous system and is known as sympathetic nervous system. Stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system dilates the pupil, inhibits the salivary gland so the mouth becomes dry, accelerates the heartbeat, and it relaxes the bronchi so that we can take in more amount of air in the lungs. But activation of the parasympathetic nervous system constricts the pupil back to normal, stimulates the salivary gland, inhibits the heart rate or decreases and lowers the heart rate back to normal, as well as constricts the bronchi so that we are again able to respire normally. So functionally, sympathetic nervous system is completely opposite to the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, why do books fall off from our hands while sleeping? Well, this is because the connection between the medulla oblongata and the cerebrum becomes inactive while sleeping. So, because it becomes inactivated, informations are not reaching the cerebrum, and that is why the cerebrum is not being able to tell the muscles to keep contracting and to keep holding the book. So naturally, the muscles tend to relax, and that is why books fall off from our hands while sleeping.